Hello, my name is Murphy McGee. Thank you so much for tuning into this presentation all about my body of work that I've completed in my final year of my master's program in interactive arts and experiences. I have a background in studio art with an emphasis in graphic design, printmaking, and analog photography. The objective of this presentation is to give you a background of the work and research that influenced my body of work and talk more about how I plan to push the work further. To reiterate, Traces is a collection of experimental photography and installation focused on exploring human experiences and memory through the lens of interactions with non-human entities. My background in art making and visual design really influenced the approach and styling of this body of work. The direction was shaped by the research in ecofeminism, ephemeral installation, and bioart. The aims of the work itself is to respond to the lack of visual representation in post-humanism and decentering the human within art and design. My curiosity and interest in humans interacting with nature evolved into an exploration of the role that non-humans play in human experience and memory. My initial curiosities about artwork that had a narrative of human interaction with nature led me to land art. I began by exploring artists such as Andy Goldsworthy, Walter de Maria, Olafur Eliasson, Robert Smithson, Michael Heiser, and Christo and Jean-Claude. Here are just a few of the works that I studied. Alongside researching and studying works in land art, I found Donna Haraway, an author and ecofeminist who coined the term nature culture. And through that, I found Dr. Shu-Yu Lee Ho and her dissertation on co-creating with nature culture. I delve into themes of radical indigenism, posthumanism, decentering humans and interaction design, sustainable interaction design, and bioart. Here are just a few of the artists that I found that really inspired my work, starting with David Bowen. He uses 3D printing in order to create sculptures that show a juxtaposition between nature and man-made, with the organic shapes versus the rigidity of man-made objects. Natalie Jeremijenko really explores using man-made technology to get closer with nature and bridge the gap between non-human interactions by creating things like this interface to talk with fish. So the picture of the blue lights, these were actually attached to sensors so that when fish swim by or up to it, it would then signal to the viewer that the fish was there, and thus creating communication between the two species. In this work by Martin Roth, he explores human and non-human interaction through sonic experience. He hooked up these corn plants to synthesizers, set up speakers that played ambient noise, and as participants walked through the maze created with the plants, anytime that they would brush up against it, it would change the overall sounds that was coming out of the speakers, thus influencing the overall experience of the participants. In this work by Stacy Levy, she created sculptures with etched glass and then inoculated them with mold spores, showing this beautiful collaboration with non-human entities. Eduardo Katz described himself as a transgenetic artist, while also popularizing the term bioart in the 1990s. Here you can see some of his prints, which he called bioprints. He actually inoculated bacterial cultures into his prints so that while on display, they would continue to morph, shift, and change as they were actually living. Yasmin Macher is a bioartist from Belfast. All of her work really brings to light the non-human actors that are involved in our everyday lives. In order to make this work more interactive with the participants, for another iteration, I would plan to explore taking video of the microscopic entities that exist with these samples that I got of the seawater, seaweed, and sand, and then have them be projected into the space and onto the participants themselves so that the microscopic creatures would then be lingering on their skin. The work, while also expanding on the idea that these non-human actors actually play a part in our experiences while being in those environments and our memory of the environments themselves. Thank you so much for taking the time to further explore the work that I have produced in my final year of my master's program. I look forward to hearing your feedback.